because they left a lot of stories on the walls of different places that they went to. Can I sleep here? Is it safe here? Where can I get some food? I'm going this way. Tell me how to get there the safe way. What train not to get. Stuff like that. It's the same thing that you see petroglyphs. So there has to be enough of the petroglyph there on the rock to tell that story. A lot of the rocks, they fell over, so there's only part of the petroglyph there, so people, when they go try to interpret it, they only see a portion of it, and the other portion is laying upside down, and you don't really even see that part anymore because the stone has fallen over. So, but a lot of them you can reach, and a lot of them are really complicated, which you have to know about the tribe and the people. But anyway, going back to the technology, like I said, we only had oil lamps, and that's how we lit up our rooms and to see, and there would be just a couple of them lit, and they would flicker onto the wall. You could be laying there like I used to lay there on the sheepskin, and I would see the light flickering on the wall as Grandpa was telling the story. You could kind of imagine what they're telling you just by what's going on too on the walls, and it was very interesting because the stories went on hours after hours after hours, and sometimes it'd be the next morning, and they'd have coffee and something to eat, and then they would go on their way either to the fields or go home or do what they have to do that day, and then it would continue on the next day. Those stories would go on every day. This happened every day. Maybe there'd be one day or two that they didn't, but they always come back to the story where they stopped at, and a lot of it was to remind them and also to teach us. I mean, they didn't make us sit there or anything like that, but they were so interesting, the stories, and that's how we learn about a lot of things, a lot of our ceremonies, about people, about other types of animals that don't exist anymore, and when these animals will be coming back. And like they talked about the ant people and other entities that were there way before we were there. That's what they talked about. And then they would tell you about these stories and where you could actually go see the markings of a lot of these entities and stuff like that. Like I was drawing a picture because I was trying to make this is like one of the ant people here that I was drawing, and this is a warrior one. There's 3 different types. There's the warrior ant people, and they don't really have bows and arrows. They have spears, but they do carry different types of weapons, and they're not very big. They're like 2 feet tall at the most. And then they have the farmers. They're smaller ones, and they take care of the farms. They grow, because they were the first farmers there, or anywhere in the Southwest actually. And then they have the other ones that are like they collect different herbs and stuff for medicines, and they're the ones who make the waterways. So a lot of the waterways that you see in like Chaco Canyon or different places that you find these homesteads from thousands of years ago, they made waterways. Well, they're the ones who made those waterways. They're very powerful. They're very fast, very strong. They can climb upside down. They can climb rocks. That's how you see a lot of these petroglyphs. I keep telling people that they're 200-300 feet up, and you wonder, well, why would a person put a petroglyph 200 or 300 feet up there, and how did they get up there in the first place? Well, it was the ant people that did that. They climbed all of these rocks, and they put their petroglyphs up there way up high. Or sometimes they're not that high, or sometimes they're underneath rock, and you're wondering, well, how did the people hang upside down and put those like that? But it wasn't us. It was the people before us, these entities. I call them people because they were people before us. They were the ant people. you know, and we don't. There's no really no real name for them. Like we're a lot of us are called different, you know, so different names, Spanish, you know, there's Indian, and so they were just all the ant people. So, but they're the ones who did all these things, and that's why some of the petroglyphs are different than the human petroglyphs. You can tell pretty easy, but what they just by what they're talking about, what they're doing, because they do have language. It's not like language that we speak, but they do have a language. But anyway, back to the part of technology. So that's why we learned a lot, because technology that came later on didn't take up all our time like it does now. You know, with cell phones and games and everything's technology, satellite TVs, all that. We didn't have none of that. So stories about our people and surviving, you know, growing our crops. We grew everything ourselves. There was no stores out there. This was back in the 50s and 60s, not that long ago. You know, that we went farming. And I want to talk about that dry farming. Me and Grandpa used to do that. And a lot of that dry farming down below. And I have some photographs of that. I'll show you guys and things like that. But that's why the reason that we talk about all this stuff is because it's all lost, been gone. I do have some really old photographs from way back when that I'll share with you guys, and we can go through some of that. And some of the stuff is kind of funny, you know, and the way we gather water and did the things that we did. Some of the games that we played, which is too bad that they're not around anymore. But and the way we made candy, my grandma used to make candy for us out of different types of weeds, not weeds, but like corn on foxtails and things like that. But that's how we made candy, you know, things like that. But stuff that's lost and gone for a long time. So